The Righteous Gemstones to end with season 4 at HBO and final episodes to premiere in March. And this is from Variety, this article, and you can find the link in the description, as I said, if you want to go read it yourself. Now, I will say, this is from about a week ago now, and even since this article came out, we did get the, I'm not sure if they called it a trailer, but a teaser of the season, and we do know now the premiere date is March 9th. So this article is slightly out of date, but the biggest news about this article is that the show is ending with this season at HBO. So that's what we're dealing with here. So, from Variety here, The Righteous Gemstones will end its run at HBO with its upcoming 4th season, Variety has learned. The comedy series was renewed for season 4 at HBO back in July of 2023, and then it says the exact premiere date is yet to be set, which it is now. It's March 9th, which is awesome, by the way. I mean, I did not think that it would be that soon. I thought it would be, in the first 6 months of the year, the first half of the year. But to hear that it's March 9th, I mean, that's like, a month? Like just a month away, a month and a few days. So really hyped, obviously, for that. So then we get a little bit of quote here. So, the Lord spoke to me and said it's time to wrap this sucker up. That's what Danny McBride said. And then, quote, the story of this season made the themes, ideas, and characters in Gemstones feel whole and complete. I have loved every second of working with this team for the past 8 years, and there are some incredible payoffs, twists, and turns in store over the course of this wild final season. So that's the quote there from Danny McBride, I guess, when they released this news. And I did see this, so I do follow, huge fan, by the way, of Gemstones, of Danny McBride, of his work on HBO and his movies as well. But yeah, huge fan of Eastbound and Down, one of my favorite shows of all time. Vice Principal's right up there, and Gemstones, I think, it's getting to the point where you could probably say that it's the best of those 3 shows, which I would have never believed after seeing Eastbound and Down, right? And Vice Principal's for that matter too. So, huge fan of Danny McBride and the show, and so I do follow him and his production company, Rough House Pictures. I think it's Rough House Pictures. They've also been the ones behind those Halloween remakes as well in 2018. So anyways, they do a few things. Him, David Gordon Green, and Jody Hill, I think, make up the team behind Rough House Pictures. But anyways, so I've been following them on social media, and so I saw, right when this story broke that it was the final season, I was like, what? And then, of course, I went, and found this article and got a little bit, some more details there. But yeah, so the rest of the article, I think, just kind of goes on and describes what the show is. And it does say it's been much beloved by critics and audience since its debut, with the show holding an 88% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes across its 3 release seasons. It has also received 4 Emmy Award nominations, which, I mean, hardly, right? I mean, this show should be getting Best Comedy Series every single season that it's been on, and it's gotten absolutely nothing in regards to that. But the same thing, I think, went for the other Danny McBride shows. So, yeah, I mean, it's to be fair, it is more of a niche thing, I think, Danny McBride's style and his tone, because it's just so much. Like, it's comedy, it's drama, it's horror, it's action, like, maybe sci-fi even, maybe you can slide in there a little bit, that they play with some little things at times, but anyways, it's just so many genres and such a mix of all that stuff that I think it's a little hard for them, for award bodies, especially like the Emmys, to kind of put that into a box and nominate it. So anyways, yeah, there's 4 nominations, but I think it's just in like technical aspects. But anyways, so the big thing here is that it's ending. Season 4 will be the last of The Righteous Gemstones. So am I shocked by this? Not really. Not really. I did think, though, that they were going to do 5 seasons. I did think that this was, we were getting near the end of the show, but I didn't think that 4 would be the end. I thought for sure they would do a 5th season. But I'm not shocked, just in general that the show's ending. Because Danny McBride has never done, Eastbound and Down was 4 seasons. Vice Principal was just 2, right? He's never really done a long-running commitment of a show. Even in the movie space, he hasn't really done, anything like that. That's been like a long-standing like franchise or anything like that. He just has so many ideas and is so creative, I think, that, he doesn't want to be kind of pigeonholed in by a single, idea or single project or even character, right, that he's playing in all of these projects. He wants to move on to something else. And so that's the most exciting part about this is, yeah, I love the Righteous Gemstones. I think it's arguably the best show that he's made. But it'll also be really cool to see what else he has up his sleeve, right? Because again, after Vice Principals, you're like, could he really outdo himself again? And he did, right? It's the same after he spent it down. Could he really do this again with Vice Principals? And I mean, some could argue that he did, right? So I have no doubt that the next project that he does, and by a lot of accounts, it does sound like he is going to be doing another project with HBO after this. There's been no details about it, but just the way he's been talking about it in a couple interviews that I've seen him do, it sounds like, and I think he has an overall deal with HBO anyways, so it sounds like there'll be another one coming within the next couple years, I would think. So yeah, I'm just really excited to see what he has to, do next or what he has up his sleeve, and I have full confidence that it will be, at the very least, just as good as these other shows that he's done so far. So yeah, a little bittersweet. I do have really high hopes. I think this could easily be the best season of the Righteous Gemstones, especially with some of the stuff he says about the payoff and a lot of the twists and turns. He calls it a wild season. So yeah, I do have really high hopes for this. I think it could be really, really, really great. And I thought season 3 of Gemstones was really great. So we'll see if they can top that. But yeah, so unfortunate to see it end here. Again, slightly surprised that it's this season instead of next season. But yeah, I mean, it's okay. It's okay. And I think, again, Edie Patterson came from Vice Principals, so did Walton Goggins, and I'm really hoping Steve Little makes a cameo or some sort of appearance in this season. He has to, right? He has to. Like, it's the final season of the show. He did make a cameo in Vice Principals in that finale episode. You gotta put Steve Little in this season of Gemstones. You have to do it. Of course, with Stevie, right, from Eastbound and Down. But that's the only thing I need. I need Steve Little in an episode of this show. But anyways, the point I was trying to make with that is I'm sure in his next project we will see a lot of these same names, whether or not it's Edie Patterson, but maybe it's out of Divine, or I'm sure Walton Goggins will be back in tow for this next project. So it's not like this is the last time we'll see any of these guys, and certainly I don't think it'll be the last time that we see Danny McBride. I'm also down to see an original movie from him too. I mean, I don't think he's done that lately or recently. Some people were even talking about him doing like what's his name? What's the character's name that he plays? Gemstone, but I'm forgetting the Jesse, right? Yeah, Jesse Gemstone, of doing like a movie, of him playing Jesse Gemstone as kind of a spin-off. So I'd be down for that. But anyways, anything that Dan McBride does next, I'm looking forward to it. So perfectly on board with that. We'll have to see season 4. I have high hopes for it. Really looking forward to it. March 9th, only a month and a few days away now. So I can't wait for that premiere there. And we'll have to keep our eyes out for any news that'll come up soon, hopefully, of his next project in the works there at HBO.